the whole Torah is based on Emunah, Torah Zion.
Okay, let's go. Diving in.
All right, let's dive right in. So this Torah, before Nachman had a vision where he saw his great grandfather Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov told him that when people spoil things in the Holy Land in Eretz Yisrael, they will fall into exile. And this whole Torah is going to explain that vision of Eretz Yisrael and where the blessings come from and how it comes and how it gets distributed in the whole world. And this Torah was given in the winter of 1802, Tov Kov Samar Gimel. So let's dive right in. Likutei Moharan Torah Zion, L'Shem Rabbeinu Zechron Livracha, Ve'ela Mishpatim Asher Tosim Lifneihem. And these are the mishpatim that was brought up in front of them, which Reb Nachman is going to have a whole question over here. What's lifneim? Who's the plural? And what is in front of them? Brings down a mechilta and a gemara. He's going to go into all that. So, Amr Chachmein L'Shem Livracha, Hishbu Isha Leish. That in regards to all the laws, all the halachas, women and men are the same. Maybe you can have students that will learn and they're not going to understand. It says, you have to spread it out in front of them like a fully set table. You have to make sure that they understand it. That's how he starts, and we're going to see throughout the whole Torah how he's going to weave everything into Emunah and then Eretz Yisrael. The only reason we are in Golas is because we have a lack in Emunah. Emunah will begin as Tefillah. Emunah is a begins at Tefillah. K'mash Kosef Behi Yod of Emunah v'Targimoi Rison Bitzloi. Behi Yod of Emunah. We know the story was when Yeshua was in the war, and Moshe had to hold up his hand to daven, and whenever he had his hand up, that's when the Yidden were winning. When he put his hand down, the Yidden were losing, so they had to hold his hand. He had to hold his hand up. And Hargam says Prison Bitzle, which means spread out in prayer. Bitzle is a lotion of prayer. Prison spread out. So when his hand was up, it was spread out in prayer. This is Bechinas of Nisim Lamayla Mederech HaTeva, above nature. Yeah, Tefillah Lamayla Mateva. Tefillah is above Teva. Yeah, Teva Mechayev came, right? Because Teva, what is that? Teva dictates certain things. But Tefillah Meshana Teva. Tefillah, changes anything that Teva dictates. V'zedvar nes, and this is a nes. In order to get these nisim, you need a munah. Sheyamin, you have to believe sheyesh mechadish v'yuda lechadish davar ketzaynai. That Hashem can be mechadish, can create new things whichever way He sees fit. V'ikar emunah is bechinas tefillah, bechinas nisim. Ikar emunah comes from tefillah, which creates nisim. Eine ele b'Eretz Yisrael. It's only in Eretz Yisrael. Like it says, Shchan Eretz Ure'ei Emunah. Dwell in the land and cultivate Emunah. B'sham, Ikar Ali is a tefillah. In Eretz Yisrael is the Ikar place where the tefillahs go up. In this week's parsha, by the dream of Yaakov, is Shar Shemaim. Right? Yaakov had a dream of a ladder going up and down, and this is a Shar Shemaim, which Yaakov slept on the Harabayas, and didn't know that at the time, but he slept in the Harabayas. Actually, you see this week's parsha. It says that when you learn and you see something from this week's parsha, something that has to do with the times, that means Torah Lishma. So we're just learning Torah Lishma over here. When Avram asked, how was he going to know that his kids are gonna yarsh in the land? He was poigam in the Yerushas of the land because he asked. He had a question. He had a doubt in Amunah. So he had a doubt in the land, a doubt in Amunah. Because of that, we had Golas Mitzrayim. But Dafke Yaakov Ibanav Yord Mitzrayim. Dafke Yaakov and his kids went down to Mitzrayim. Because Yaakov had 12 Shvatim, and those 12 Shvatim represents the 12 different Nisach of Tfilas, and they brought that into Golas. Right. In Mitzrayim, so we went down to Mitzrayim with the 12 Shvatim, with the 12 different Nischos. Mitzrayim is the opposite of Nisim. Mitzrayim is basically is because it's the opposite of Nisim, so that's why they ran. Because it explained that's why they ran into the Yamsuf, because they ran against the Nisim. There's no tefillah. He says Moshe Rabbeinu had to leave the city in order to daven, and again, Ephraim is kape, to spread out my hands in prayer, which is the same as I said before. You see that picking up your hands is a form of Amunah. All the Goliaths that we have after Mitzrayim is named after Mitzrayim, because they cause anguish. Mitzrayim is a lotion of anguish. Mitzrayim is also a lotion of constriction. We're constricted in Golas. When someone is poigim in Amunah, in Tefillah, or in Eretz Yisrael, then he has to go down to Golas. Mashiach will not come until the last penny is gone from the pockets, which means, the simple meaning is, last penny is gone from the pockets, is that inflation will be very high. And when we see inflation very high, we know that it's time for Mashiach to come. So, yeah, I think it's about time. What does it mean? He says that is as when all the apikarsim, all the atheists who have no faith in miracles, and they try to explain away all the miracles, when they're going to be gone. They cover, they make sure that it wasn't a nas, it's probability. How many times do you hear that? It's probability, it wasn't a nas. They try to cover everything up with teva. Ki ikir nisim be'Eretz Yisrael, ki Eretz Yisrael shoyis yitchila. Ikir nisim come from Eretz Yisrael. Ki Eretz Yisrael shoyis yitchila. It says that Eretz Yisrael gets the rain first, and then the whole world gets it. Ishiyasa matahoimos, and the shiyasa is a lotion of drink, of water, comes from tahoimos. Same lotion of tehoim koil ha'ir. Tehoim is a lotion of amazed, that something miraculous happened. Shall davar nisi temeinu oilam. It says that something that is miraculous amazes everyone. So that's a lotion of tahoimos, of tehoim. That's what it says, tahoim el tahoim kore, which is deep calls deep. Kiyesh nisim eloin. There's like upper nisim, and v'yesh nisim shem bechenes tahoim elo. That's the upper tahoim. V'yesh nisim tatoin. There's lower nisim shem bechenes tahoim tato. That corresponds to the lower tahoim. A malach shekolol mekol nisim. There's a malach that is kolol. He encompasses all the nisim. Mishneh tahoimus damyele egler. That's doime to a egle, which is an axe. You begin to say gulin. It corresponds to a gulin, which means circles. And a circle is a beginning of amuna. Why? The amuna is going to encircle you. So Egla, so he says this malach that has an appearance of an axe, he's doime to circles, which is the aspect of amuna. Ifrito sifvose, which means when the lips were split open from that malach, that axe, his lips were split open. What does that mean? That vision. Shahu bechinas tefillah, kamashkosev Hashem sfase tiftach, b'hu klolius hanisim. The split lips is tefillah. That's the concept of nisim. That's why it says achatich leprutum menakis. There are people that will cover up the nisim. From that malach that has a split lips, they're covering the teva. When that's going to be gone from the world, when there's not going to be people who are going to try to cover up emunah and teva, and you'll have more emunah in the world. That's when Mashiach will come. The Ikar Geula Talu in emunah. And it says, "Come gaze from the peak of Amana." And that's basically it's saying that when we're going to realize the power of Amuna, that's when Mashiach is going to come. And I always say this, that what is it called? Benny, what is it called? What I always say about the analytics. Analytics, everyone is busy with analytics today, but really, if you think about it, what's analytics? Analytics is we want to know the future. With analytics, we believe that if we plug this in to certain numbers and we follow this trend, then we'll know the future. And really, again, we need some type of analytics, but really analytics is a form of apikarsis. It's kind of a novi sheker. We know that if this makes sense, then we don't need really Hashem anymore because the analytics say it. And you see in baseball, we already know when Judge is going to hit a home run because every 8.3 bats, he has something. It has nothing to do with the person anymore. So if someone takes analytics and really relies on that, only on that, that's complete the opposite of Amunah, and it's taken people away from relying on Hashem. Now, again, we live in a world with analytics, and we live in a world where everyone wants to project everything. Fine, project, use analytics, but still know that even with all your analytics, Hashem can change everything, and everything can change. And with that, we'll get back to work. L'chaim.
Thank you.